What up, guys? Shadycash here, bringing you another commentary. Got a game of Team Deathmatch on Ground War for you. Playing with Chrono Monkey from the clan. And been watching a lot of this E3 coverage over the past few days. Definitely an exciting time of the year if you're into video games with a lot of things getting announced and everything. While E3, it's definitely not the be-all, end-all as far as conventions are concerned anymore with PAX and some other yearly stuff going on. It's arguably still the most relevant. A lot of bigger publishers and the bigger name titles hold off a lot of the most anticipated announcements of the year for E3 just because of the amount of press coverage it'll receive and everything. And, one of the unsung heroes of the video game industry, somebody that deserves quite a bit of thanks for the way things are today, is Hal Halkin. He's one of the guys he's basically the guy who had the idea for E3 back in the 90s, early 90s. There was really nothing like it as far as conventions were concerned, especially in the United States. And most of these publishers, they would do their own kind of conventions. And, he was the guy that kind of had the idea to bring it all together under one roof and make just one yearly huge kind of extravaganza for the press to go and experience all the things that are going to be coming out over the next year and get a glimpse of kind of the future of video games. And he's the founder and the president of the ECA. The ECA is the Entertainment Consumer Association. They're basically our consumer rights advocacy group for, people who are gamers. They are the ones who look out for our rights on Capitol Hill and make sure that they're protected and not stepped all over. They're the ones that helped combat, just a series after series of anti-game and anti-gamer legislation. For instance, Hal spoke before the Supreme Court when Schwarzenegger was trying to get not violent games banned in California, but basically equated with pornography as far as government regulations are concerned. They would have had to have been displayed outside of the view of any minors, so any promotional materials for any M-rated games or any the cases themselves that are being sold in arcades, any violent games would have had to be kept in separate rooms that minors didn't have access to. And definitely a good thing that didn't go through, because that's a slippery slope there, and a bit of censorship in my opinion. But yeah, been watching a lot of this E3 coverage, a lot of trailers. There's definitely a few standout ones. Uncharted 3 for the PS3 is one of my most anticipated games of the year. Uncharted 2 is one of my favorite games this generation of consoles, bar none, so can't wait to play the new one. Trailer just looks, gorgeous, which is expected. Naughty Dog is a great company. I still remember back in the day, the first game of theirs I ever played was Way of the Warrior. Terrible game, got horrible reviews. I was so mad at the time because I detasseled all summer. If you grow up in Iowa, it's basically a rite of passage. And spent all my paycheck on this $700 game system that was basically just a expensive doorstop. And it was one of the fighting games that came out for it that was a system exclusive. And I so badly wanted it to be good, I was like in denial. And when the review came out, it was just like, this game's great. What are they talking about? You go back and play it a year later and you're just like, oh my god, what was I thinking? But yeah, and then the Modern Warfare 3 trailer looks pretty good. They put some gameplay up, and yeah, it's just the one-player campaign. There's not too much at the show. A bit of it looks kind of like a recycled mission from Modern Warfare 2, honestly, but some guns I saw in the trailer were the AK-74U, the P90, the G18, the AA-12, the automatic shotgun. And I mean, it does look pretty, it definitely looks a lot like Modern Warfare 2, but I still think that game's gorgeous. So yeah, and I'll be posting some links to some different trailers in the description below of just some stuff that I watched that I thought was definitely worth your time checking out. So and hopefully, if there's any really important news that comes out on E3, I'll definitely do my best to put something